I want to share with you something incredibly powerful, and really try and hear this. Notice that all of your problems are just thoughts. Yeah. Even your response to this, like right now, is a thought. The more I tread this path of spirituality, the more I see that like the most powerful stuff is the subtlest things. It's just like a slight shift in consciousness, and you're like, whoa, wait, all of my life is just thoughts. Everything, all of my suffering has just been me thinking, ruminating. You see what's been happening. You've fallen asleep and your mind has been running your life. That's not you. You know who you are. When I speak to you, you know that I'm speaking to your higher self. Understand, I don't mean your higher self as some abstract spiritual idea. I mean it's that self that's there, that self with a capital S, truth with a capital T. That's what I'm talking to. And that's what's true about you. You see? Notice a lot of the pain and suffering that you have in life is because you're not aligned with that. I know you've heard this a million times, but it's because you've been in your ego. Yeah? What's wise here is to not be like, oh no, I know, like I'm in my ego, like I know the ego. No. What I've learned recently is the quality of your listening is everything. If you think you know something and you're just like, oh, I've heard that before, it just goes right over your fucking head. No, slow down. Listen with your higher self. Listen with your wisdom. Sometimes when I'm just kicking back, when I'm like chilling and I'm listening to a video or something, I'm like, like part of me, like even if it's like 2 or 3% is there. And that is listening in and hearing all of the good stuff. And really, man, that part of you, it knows all the good stuff already. Because the cool thing about God is it actually recognizes itself. When you hear spiritual wisdom, it speaks to you in a certain way. It lands in you somehow. It just resonates. It's because you are God and you're trying to get back to yourself. And you resonate with anything that speaks to that part of you. If you're like me, you've always been drawn to it. Yeah. However, notice this. Notice that you can just have a life where you just kind of completely forget about this. Completely lose touch with this. When you fall back asleep and you don't make spirituality a priority for you. Notice that you're not happy when you do this. You're not truly happy. You actually know, if you think about it, you know what happiness is. You have a felt sense for it. If you're intuitive, if you can sense things, if you can feel things, you physically, spiritually, almost mentally as well, you kind of know the experience of happiness, also joy, peace. You're familiar with these things, right? Especially if you meditate lots. You're like, I'm experiencing some rapture, some bliss, some happiness. I mean, these are all different things, but you know what I mean. Now, I want you to notice that when you fall back asleep, which we all do, by the way, when that happens, you're not honoring your higher self. You're not honoring what's true. You're not honoring what really does it for you, what makes you happy. For me, man, I've always just had the value of happiness. I've always just realized, like, if there's one thing to have, it's to be happy. Yeah, and I've realized in my own experience that happiness is not, obviously, it's not to do with what you have going on. It's really, it can be felt within you when you are conscious again. Yeah. And the more you spiritually develop, the more you become sensitive, the more you become conscious, the more you start to intuitively understand this happiness thing, how to bring it about, what it really is, what it feels like, what it does for you. And what you'll see if you really introspect is that it is consciousness. Now, don't hear that like most other things, okay? Because this is really important. Anytime I've had like powerful mystical experiences or powerful experiences during meditation where my consciousness is massively lifted, I'm like, okay, all right. I my wisdom tells me, dude, if you ever hear the word consciousness, take a second. Because it's not like other words. It's the pointer. It's the word we use. And so anytime this word consciousness is used, or you hear it or you say it, just take a second and realize, oh, wow, that's a pointer. What is it pointing you back to? It's pointing you back to God, yourself, truth. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You can have a lot of cool stuff, but there's only one thing you truly want. You want consciousness. You want God. You want yourself. Of course you do. You cannot avoid this. And you know you can't avoid it. You can play games within consciousness, like the game of business, the game of relationships. You never really get it, as we say. You never really get yourself. Maybe you've been with someone before, emotionally, romantically, whatever, and you're next to them. You're like, okay, I feel connected to someone. I feel like love, but I know that I'm really looking for myself, and myself is self with a capital S, and it's consciousness. It's God. I'm looking for my higher self. What you can do with this is you can ask yourself the question: where have I been slacking with my spirituality? Where have I been pushing it back? Meditation, I'll do it kind of like maybe before bed or something. You want to know how you can improve that? You can do it in the morning. Yeah. When you invest into your state of consciousness, I mean, it's the thing to invest in. And like, if you care about good state, if you care about good experience, you will do it. And if you're in like a lower state, you're like, dude, I've been like, all in my head recently. That's okay, man. All the more sweeter when you return. It doesn't need to take ages. Yesterday, man, I had like a period of about 2 hours was really fucking in my head. And then in the evening time, a couple of hours after, I'm like, I feel God again. I was outside looking at the sky, kind of like sunset kind of time. And that's another insight. Do you want another insight? The sunset or the sunrise, either one, anything beautiful is an expression of God. Yeah, it's God reminding itself of itself. When you see beauty in the world, that is God. People think sunsets are beautiful, and they are, but really sunsets are God. Yeah, because when people say sunsets are beautiful, what is beauty? Beauty is God. I empathize with you if this doesn't click right away. Yeah, for me to be able to just say this stuff and for it to flow out of me has taken months and years of contemplation, meditation, introspection, and self-reflection. All of the good stuff, all of our favorite work. The more you do it, the more fluid it becomes for you, the more intuitive it becomes for you. You just get it. Sometimes, I'll be speaking to one of my clients and they'll just say like a line, like, I don't know, I saw today that I'm not my mind. And I'm like, yes. My intuition totally connects to that. I totally understand you. Right? So here's another benefit of just being a conscious person. You get things quicker and you get things deeper. Things land for you. You hear more. Things are understood on a spiritual level more easily. A beautiful benefit of being a conscious person. I love it, man. We're going to wrap things up there. My friend, lots of love. Take care. And as always, peace.